Late start on a not late day. Let's get going, guys. Oh, glowing head. Oh, gosh. Long day. Long day. Even though it's Saturday and I shouldn't have to do anything. Interesting. I got a nice pull on the scar, I believe. Not much to talk about today. Might be the most boring episode yet. I'm wearing pants. Ooh, don't swing the arms up. I have noticed ever since the surgery, I have a click in my right shoulder. It's clicking every time I do this. Click. Click. Very, it's interesting that it's so, like, perfect. It clicks every time. 2 more. Not much has gone on. We're trying to power through this unfortunate weekend. We had a good one. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's really funny. That's the replacement. Oh, my sister came by, and she saw the adhesive strips that had replaced my stitches. We're flapping, we're falling off, even though we were doing everything we could to trim them and make sure they stay. And she was like, "Let me see that. It's falling off there." And I was like, "Well, you're gonna tear it off, you know?" And she's like, "Well, let me look at it, you know." And I'm like, "You're gonna tear it off. I know you're gonna tear it off. I don't know that you shouldn't tear it off or whatever." So she's like, "Yeah, this is loose. I'm gonna tear it all off." And yeah, there you go. Tore it all off, and it looks fine. Maybe it even needs to be exposed to start really, really, really healing. There were a couple of little spots I thought, oh, I got little pieces of dirt or black that I got to clean this up. And I know one of my specific instructions was not to clean it with rubbing alcohol. So, but immediately I get advice, if you really want to get rid of all that sticky stuff, clean it with rubbing alcohol. Like, well, okay, maybe it's not, maybe my advice was immediately after surgery or, you know, up until a certain point, don't clean it with rubbing alcohol. But now I look at it today and I realize some of the little black spots that I thought were dirt are actually little arm hairs growing back, because that was one of the fun stories of the day, the hours and hours spent waiting for surgery. Was, you know, early on they're like, we got to prep this guy. Let's get him cleaned up. Let's take all his clothes, put him in the gown, make sure his butt hanging out. All the good things they do at the hospital. Give him funny little yellow socks that have the bottoms of the socks on the top and the bottom. So the only way you can wear them wrong is by wearing them sideways, I guess. And then at some point, a helpful nurse came over and said, "Oh, the nurse that gave you all your socks and shit didn't shave your injury site for the surgery. Didn't shave the surgery site." So they get an electric shaver, and it was interesting. In a lot of the documentation I had, it said, like, you're going in for surgery and they're going to probably shave it. If someone shaves you with a razor, you need to object. You need to get an adult and be like, why is this person shaving me with a razor? God, I don't know what systemic issues had arisen so frequently that they need to have documentation like, this is so out of control, we need even the patients to police themselves. But there it was. She wasn't using a straight razor or a bladed razor or anything. She's using a little thing like you'd use for shaving your face or something, you know. And she's near, and I'm like, there's a lot of hair. I'm a hairy guy. She's near, going on and on. And all she could do is complain about how the first nurse didn't do it. She's, I'm doing this because that nurse. I actually really like that first nurse. So maybe there's something. Let's just invent off of like one anecdote that nurses with good bedside manner that I appreciate also don't cross their T's and dot their I's. Something dumb. But she finishes shaving it, and I'm looking at it like, and she comes back and she's like, "Oh, I missed like a whole spot." And I was like, "Oh, geez, Well, yeah, I mean, of course you did, because you didn't want to do it. Also, don't care. Just hit it now. Just shave the rest of it. But it was like all around, and I remember just being like, God, my arm looks weird, because it doesn't just look weird because it's shaved, and I've never shaved the arms. But also, it was only like the forearm, the upper forearm is the only part shaved. So the wrist and front of the forearm are still hairy as can be. But yeah, now they're poking their way through little black budding hairs. I guess I should definitely make sure none of them get ingrown, right? You don't want any weird ingrown hair infection stuff like right next to your surgery spot. I guess it's healed enough that it can be exposed. So some parts of it actually look healed, and some parts of it look like, oh, that needs some air or something. Little black dried blood, and the other parts are just clean. They look like it's healed. Let's start this guy up. Having a hard time getting back into the flow of recording for the site. We just don't do it. I need to do it. I want to do it. In order to want to do it, I need to do it. It's a weird thing to say, but and right now it's sort of feast or famine on Saturday, on like Sunday, Mondays. Cray and I record, and then it kind of goes blank from then on. And I've tried to address it, but I can't get anything flowing. I see some of the streamers I follow have finally changed games, or at least played a different game for 1 or 2 days. That's fascinating to me. They seem so diehard about the games they like. Now they changed. And of course they would. But I actually remember listening to the Destiny Community podcast where they talked about how it's like legitimately difficult for them as the Destiny Community podcast. They really can't ever change games. It's all like in the name, They do play other games, but then they always have to keep update on Destiny and then like be like, I hate it or whatever. I don't know that they hate it, but they say something like that. They joke as the things come and go. I haven't really kept up with the community. What did I see? CD sent me a huge Reddit post from a guy who was like, if you understood how hard it was for Bungie to make Destiny, you wouldn't hate it, you would just leave it. Or rather, you would either like it or leave it. You wouldn't like hate it or stick around and be like, guys do this wrong and that wrong. And there's some fundamental assertions there that I disagree with on the Bungie argument side. Like, he needed to take his argument and like pare it down to like the true thing, which is generally if you like inform yourself, you're gonna be less upset. You'll be more informed and be like, well, that's why that's like that. And in this case, the idea was to push the concept you could inform yourself about game development, because you may not be able to get informed about what Bungie is doing. They do or don't share that data, and you know or don't because of that. So if you could just boil it down to like, hey, the more you get to know people, the harder it is to like hate them. You either love them or leave them, kind of thing. I did talk about this. This reminds me of the love them or leave them line. Makes me go ping about. I talked about the COVID signs that were up in the neighborhood. I didn't like the signs. I like the intent behind the signs. I just think they were bad signs, poorly created signs. So I went out the other day, and there had been sort of a flash hard rain in San Francisco, and we can always use the rain anymore. Seems like. So unfortunately, all the signs were just mangled and drooping on the ground, And I was like, of all the things I wanted to happen with the signs, I didn't want them to just get like destroyed in some like act of God, some furious nature punishment. Like I wanted them to be better signs, not be like dead. Whereas I said to CD, like I should have loved the sign I was with at the time. I think we got 2 more stretches here. I don't know what to do now. It makes me want to like pick up the signs and like put them back up, but they're just wrecked. They're ruined. They're waterlogged beyond service. And only the most strongest, the Morpheuses of signs and the Neos of the signs, who don't go not like these and melt into the ground, are standing up. All right, one more. I think one more. I think I did 2 before I started, so I might be doing like 14 now or something. I never go back and watch, no matter how much I say it. But yep, this is going up late just because it's a really busy morning, and got my workout in, and went straight to do this here, so you can kind of see the hair. Tell you what, if we don't get something up soon, I'll just start a solo project, kind of like I did with the Contras and stuff, and we'll upload that. All right, guys, see you tomorrow.